Hey folks, Pete here from Irish Times, and today I'm going to give you an update on the COVID situation in Bangkok. I'm going to tell you the information that I heard, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions of what's going on the streets of Bangkok. So let's get into it. Right, so I'm going to walk around this car park now because I found a place where there's no people. Okay, so let's get straight to the facts first before I give you my opinions. The facts are 1.9 million people have been vaccinated already, with 500,000 receiving the 2 doses. And then we seem to be having 2,000 cases per day, which, it always seems to be 2,000 a day. I'm watching the numbers and I'm like, 2,000 every day. I mean, 1,900, and I don't know, it's just, I'm not gonna say it's wrong, but why is it always the same? Why is it not? You'd imagine that would be going up higher. It would be fluctuating more than just always kind of the same cases. Just my opinion. Okay, so this is the big piece of information that I've heard. I know someone who is, let's say, involved in the business world and knows people who was at some meetings with kind of top ranking officials, and I was actually able to see this document as well. But this is just what I've heard, right? So basically, in June, there's going to be a mass vaccination program, something like the vaccines have already been purchased, and they're aiming 100 million vaccines have been purchased, and they're aiming to vaccinate 300 to 500,000 people per day, starting off with the dark red zones with service staff. So dark red zones, it's going to be Bangkok, Chonburi, and they're going to start off with the elderly and then the service staff. So obviously the service staff is to get the restaurants and bars back open again. So my prediction, if this is reliable source, which pretty sure it is, but you know how these things go. I'm not saying this is gospel. This is just, take this with a pinch of salt, but take it from a guy who's been here 10 years and knows people, right? So anyway, so if that happens, my calculated guess would be that we're going to see end of June, July, we're going to see restaurants open first, dine in again, followed by gyms maybe after that, followed by bars. Okay, which means Bangkok, I would say, will be back up and running again by mid-July, end of July. Is kind of what I would say. I'm kind of pushing it, to vaccinate 300 to 500,000 people per day is massive undertaking. But like I said 2 weeks ago when I gave an update, Thailand does have something like 1 million part-time nurses, which, if they organise it and get on board, then it can work. So let's see. Okay, so from a business perspective, so this is the second week that dine-in has been prohibited. So the first week there were a lot of restaurants that they tried to stay open, and what they did was they would stand outside on the street and they'd bring tables out on the street and they would try and cook, even if they couldn't make the very same cook the very same food that they had on their menu for dine-in. They were still trying to cook anything just to make some money. And in this week things have changed, where last week they probably realized that they were not making any money. They tried to survive, they tried to stay open, but they just weren't able to do it. So now this week you're seeing a lot of places close. I went into the Terminal 21 food court in Sukhumvit there, Asok, which is probably one of the busiest food courts in the country, and it's closed. It was closed the other day when I went in. And then I'm seeing like pubs as well. All the pubs and the bars, like they tried to stay open last week. They were cooking food, but now a lot of them are closed this week because, you know, generally people are like not moving too far, so they're staying at home. So it's the places on the soy, the local Thai food, those kind of places are staying open. But you're seeing restaurants starting to close in shopping malls. You're seeing the food courts close. You're seeing like pubs who are not renowned for their food, they're closing, even though they tried to stay open. So, man, I just feel really sorry for just small business owners. I think it's a really, really tough time to be running a business in the last year in Thailand, and I'm sure back in the West as well. Like, but like, you know, the thing is, Thailand is obviously we're locked down here, right? But the UK and Ireland as well, 12,000 businesses opened in Ireland there this week. And my parents have already received their first vaccination. They'll be getting their second vaccination in maybe a week or two from now. So, and they're predicting by the end of the summer, like, Ireland will be up and running again. So what you're seeing now is, oh yeah, and Spain as well. Spain has just come out of its state of emergency. So what you're going to see is like you know, the Thai government now, they must be really stressing out because there's talk in the government, they're putting pressure on each other because they want tourism open up back in the fourth quarter. Now you can imagine why, because like if Spain has just finished its state of emergency, then European holidaymakers could opt to go to Spain. You know, a lot of Irish and British people, they could easily go to Spain this year and, you know, take a lot of Thailand's tourism. So now it becomes more and more, as the other European countries open up, it becomes more imperative that Thailand sorts it out, because like the tourist industries are absolutely crippled. There's no point in even going, even like here, me in Bangkok, like there's no point in me even going to the islands. Like, you know, there's nothing to do there. There's more things to do in Bangkok. At least you can walk around and you're getting more stimulation. Like okay, granted you have a beach in the islands, but there's nothing else to do. Everything's closed. So yeah, and then just from like homeless people, there's more and more homeless people here. I took a walk down from Sukhumvit to Thong Lo, Ekamai. Down Sukhumvit Road from Terminal 21 all the way down to Ekamai, which is about 4 or 5 kilometers. And I saw, like, I was asked for money about, I counted 8 times, like people coming up and asking for money. And usually that never happened to me before. Usually a lot of the homeless people will be around the Nana area, but now they just seem to be all over the place. And they don't look like I don't want to say this, like, what does a typical homeless person look like? But these people, they don't look like they don't look like, say, drug addicts. You know, they look like, you know, they've lost their jobs, they'll have no income. They can't pay their rent. So it's just it's really terrible. Like, you know, I feel really, really sorry for just Thai people. And I think it's at times like this, you know, I still have a job and I'm very lucky. So it's you know, it's just terrible. It is really, really, really terrible. I feel really sorry for people down here. They're suffering, you know. They don't have, like, you know, in Ireland people were getting money from the government and you wouldn't, to stop all this, you know. It's not the same over in Asia. Alright, I'm gonna leave it here, folks. It's like 12:30 here and I'm absolutely getting melted. My Irish skin is not designed to be standing out here in this sun. So please subscribe, share and like, and I'll see you on the next one.